Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Klada Dayane. Hiranyakashi Kodavakshaha. Tanka Nakalaye. Ito Nrasingha Parato Nrasingha. Yato Yato Yamitato Nrasingha. Bahi Nrasingha, Hridaye Nrasingha. Nrsingham Madim Sharanam Prapadye. Nrsingham Madim Sharanam Prapadye. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Singam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadvita Narahadi Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamala. Keshavadvita Narahadi Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'll do my own introduction today, make it easier for you. Everybody please chant the Maha Mantra. One more time. Trinadapi Sunichena Torariva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Vikivalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 gatiranyata. My name is Nirantara Das. I was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in April of 1974, and I have to say that joining this movement was the best decision I ever made in my life. I come here to San Diego a couple of times a year. I am nicely welcomed and invited, and I want to thank the temple community for allowing me the privilege of coming and speaking on the science of Krishna consciousness. So we just did one of the items, or actually two items, of devotional service. We did kirtan, chanting, and we also did archanam, worship of the deity. Now you're going to do the first item of devotional service, sravanam, hearing. So I beg you, please turn off the cell phones so that you will not be distracted. This hearing process is very powerful, and by hearing, we can advance to the other stages. There are 9 items of devotional service, but everything begins from this hearing process. And Srila Prabhupada insisted that there must be some philosophical discussion, some hearing of the subject matter of the science of Krishna consciousness. Although we are known as the Hare Krishna movement, although our whole philosophy is based on chanting the holy name, still, in order for that chanting to be effective, in order for that chanting to be powerful, in order for that chanting to quickly act, one has to get some nice understanding of the Vedanta philosophy or Bhakti Vedanta philosophy. So if you are ready to hear, please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And one more thing, I'm very humbled today because I see in the audience many senior, more elevated Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So I beg my senior God brothers and God sisters to please tolerate my ignorance. So tomorrow, I'm sure you're aware, is a very special event, the solar eclipse. And 5,000 years ago, the residents of Vrindavan and Dwaraka, they went to a holy place known as Kurukshetra. And that place later would become the scene of the great Mahabharata war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. But on this occasion of the solar eclipse, the residents of Vrindavan, they traveled to this place, Kurukshetra, as well as the residents of Dwaraka. For those of you who are familiar, we know that Krishna spent the first 11 years of his life in the land of Vraja, and then he went to Mathura to kill the evil Kamsa. And just upon leaving Vrindavan, he told his dearmost devotees, the gopis, don't worry, I'm coming right back. Because they didn't want him to leave. The gopis and the residents of Vrindavan were so attached to Krishna, they did not want him to leave. So Krishna pacified them, don't worry, I'm coming right back. I just have to kill a few demons, and then I'm coming back. But as it turned out, when Krishna killed Kamsa, then the whole thing was revealed that actually Krishna was not the son of Nanda and Yashoda as they had thought, but he was actually the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. And at this point, everything is revealed. So Krishna told Nanda, Yashoda, and the residents of Vrindavan who came to Mathura, he said, my first 11 years, my parents missed out on my childhood pastimes, which are very, very special. Those childhood pastimes are very unique and special. So he said, now let me spend some time with my real parents. And Nanda and Yashoda and all the residents of Vrindavan, they returned home, but they left their minds. Their minds remained with Krishna and Balaram. And after that, Krishna became entangled. He only married 16,108 wives. That's all. So, he never actually returned to Vrindavan. And at this time of this solar eclipse, Krishna had so many children, he had grandchildren. Many years had passed. He never returned. His brother Balaram, he did go at one point to see the residents of Vrindavan, but Krishna never did. Why? His parents. Vasudeva and Devaki knew if we let Krishna go to Vrindavan, he won't come back. So they never gave him permission to go back to Vrindavan. But on the occasion of the solar eclipse, there was a reunion. So Krishna met all the residents of Vrindavan. He met Nanda, Yashoda. There was a very nice conversation between Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas, and Krishna's queens. Draupadi asked all the queens, how did you get Krishna to be your husband? Draupadi herself had 5 husbands, and Draupadi was very staunch devotee of Krishna, very staunch. So she was curious, how did you get Krishna as your husband? And each of the queens, first the 8 principal queens, let's see who knows the 8 principal queens. The first queen, Rukmini. Who was next? No. Jambavati was next. Then Satyabhama. Okay, who do we have next? Bhadra, Mitravinda, Satya, Lakshmana, Kalindi. We got the 8. So each of those queens told Draupadi her story. And then, as you probably know, Krishna got 16,100 wives wholesale at one time. So they're represented by this queen Rohini. So all the queens, each one of them told their story, but at the end of telling their story, they said to Draupadi, I may be Krishna's wife, but actually I see myself as Krishna's maidservant. That's very significant. They're not proud. They're not puffed up. I am Krishna's wife. Bow down to me. No. Their mood is, yes, I may be married to Krishna, but actually, one of them said, I'm just a sweeper in the house of Krishna. Each of them thinks of themselves as maidservant. And this is the mark, this is how you tell somebody is a devotee. I chanted that shloka. Trinadapi sunichena, tarod iva sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sada. This is the mark. How can you tell someone's a devotee? They're humble, they're tolerant, they give all respects to others, they're not looking for respect and honors from anyone, but they're willing to find even one good quality in anyone. And so a devotee is always chanting. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So there was much talking because the residents of Vrindavan and the residents of Dwarka, they're like one big extended family. There's much love between them. So after meeting, after so many years, there was much talk and good wishes. At some point, Krishna skipped out. And he met privately with none other than the gopis. And what Krishna told the gopis at that meeting is what I want to read to you. And I just want you to hear how Prabhupada describes this in my favorite of his books, Krishna book. My favorite of all, because that was the book that made me a devotee, Krishna book. So I just want you to hear what Krishna told the gopis after many, many years of separation, and then Prabhupada's very nice comments on this section. Are you ready to proceed? Haribol. Very good. You get a bell. Those of you who know, this bell is a GBC approved. Where is Badri? Oh, I was so looking forward to seeing him. Okay. So here is what Krishna told the gopis at Kurukshetra on the occasion of the solar eclipse. My dear friends, you know that both Lord Balaram and myself left Vrindavan just to please our relatives and family members. Thus we were long engaged in fighting with our enemies, and were obliged to forget you, you who were so much attached to me in love and affection. I can understand that by this action I have been ungrateful to you, but still I know you are faithful to me. Badri, you're going to live to be 100 years. Where is Badri? And you show up. I've rung it so many times. Don't worry, I'll ring it some more just for you. But still, I know that you have remained faithful to me. May I inquire if you have been thinking of me and Balaram, although we had to leave you behind? My dear gopis, do you now dislike remembering me, considering me to have been ungrateful to you? Do you take my misbehavior with you very seriously? After all, you should know that it was not my intention to leave you. Our separation was ordained by providence. Now this is wonderful. This providence is actually Krishna, Super Soul. And Krishna, as I always say, Krishna is the coolest of the cool. He talks of himself in the third person. So look what he says. Our separation was ordained by providence, who after all is the supreme controller and does as he desires. Providence causes the intermingling of different persons and again disperses them as he desires. Sometimes we see that due to the presence of clouds and strong wind, atomic particles of dust and broken pieces of cotton are intermingled together. And after the strong wind subsides, all the particles of dust and cotton are again separated, scattered in different places. And similarly, the Supreme Lord, the creator of everything, arranges The objects that we see are different manifestations of his energies. By his supreme will, we are sometimes united and sometimes separated. We can therefore conclude that ultimately we are absolutely dependent on his will. Fortunately, you have developed loving affection for me, which is the only way to achieve the transcendental position of association with me. So this is something that's also taught in Bhagavad Gita. At least 3 times Krishna says, you want to see me? Bhakti. You want to know me? Bhakti. You want to come to me? Devotional service or bhakti. Any living entity who develops such unalloyed devotional affection for me certainly at the end goes back to home, back to Godhead. In other words, unalloyed devotional service and affection for me are the cause of supreme liberation. And by the way, this is the goal of this movement. Prabhupada's movement is exactly for that purpose. How to go home, back to Godhead, that word back, very important word, going back, okay? Like some of you from India, you might go back to India because that's where you're from. So, and I'm from Los Angeles. Tonight I'm going to go back to Los Angeles. So Prabhupada says, back to home, back to Godhead. I'll give myself a ding for that one. In other words, unalloyed devotional service and affection for me are the cause of supreme liberation. There's different kinds of liberation. The supreme liberation. Now, I don't know if you've picked up, see how nice Krishna is speaking with the devotees? This is why I worship Krishna. He's not some mean, vindictive God, wrathful. No, he's very sweet. Look, see how he's speaking with the devotees. Very sweetly. Just look at Radha Giridhari. Don't they look the sweetest of the sweet? I always love coming here and looking at your beautiful deities. They are the sweetest of the sweet. Madhuram, Madhuram. And today I was looking at Gaur-Nitai. Very, very sweet. This temple is so special. My dear Gopi friends, you may know from me that it is my energies only which are acting everywhere. Take, for example, an earthen pot. It is nothing but a combination of earth, water, air, fire, and sky. It is always of the same physical composites, whether in its beginning, during its existence, or after annihilation. When it is created, the earthen pot is made of earth, water, fire, air, and sky. While it remains, it is in the same in composition. And when it is broken and annihilated, its different ingredients are conserved in different parts of the material energy. Similarly, at the creation of the cosmic manifestation, during its maintenance, and after its dissolution, everything is but a direct manifestation of my energy. Same thing is taught in Bhagavad Gita. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Everything we see and touch doesn't belong to me, doesn't belong to you, doesn't belong to China. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everything, this is the vision of a devotee. Wherever he goes, whatever he sees, he's thinking, This is Krishna. I've given the example many times. Say I come to your house. You invite me. What would you think if when I get to your house, oh, I like that painting. I'll put that in my, oh, I like that. You would think, I invited this guy. He's taking everything. No, it's your property. You earned it. I have no right to come to your house, start taking things. So the devotee's vision is the same thing. Everything is Krishna's property. This is how a devotee has this Krishna vision or Krishna consciousness. Everything belongs to Krishna. And because the energy is not separate from me, it is to be concluded that I am existing in everything. In the same way, the body of a living being is nothing but a composition of the 5 elements, and the living entity embodied in the material condition is also part and parcel of me. The living entity is imprisoned in the material condition on account of his or her false conception of oneself as the supreme enjoyer. This false ego of the living entity is the cause of one's imprisonment in material existence. As the supreme absolute truth, I am transcendental to the living entity as well as to one's material embodiment. Same thing is taught in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I point these things out because everything that you want to know is in Bhagavad Gita. How many people read Bhagavad Gita once a week? Once a day? Yes. Because everything is there. This Krishna book, which is based on Srimad Bhagavatam, is only taking the concepts of Bhagavad Gita and expanding on it. But everything is there. The 2 energies, material and spiritual, are both acting under my supreme control. Another Bhagavad Gita verse. Krishna is consistent. He's consistent in Bhagavad Gita. He is consistent here in Srimad Bhagavatam. My dear gopis, I request that instead of being so afflicted, you try to accept everything with a philosophical attitude. That is also very important. You always must have a philosophical attitude. I am invited many times to speak at funerals. And I always remind the people that at this time, when you're grieving for your loved ones, the only way to overcome is to have some transcendental knowledge. Times like funerals and other tragic events in one life is the test how much transcendental knowledge one has. And how do you pass the test? You remain steady, you continue to do your duties, and you don't become completely bewildered. Yes, we cry for our loved ones. Even Krishna, several times in his Leela, he also cried for his father when it looked like his father was beheaded, when he was confronting Shalva and Krishna. And he also became overwhelmed. But those who are Krishna conscious, they may be feeling so many emotions, but they have a philosophical attitude, and they're able to adjust everything and see things with transcendental vision. Then you will understand that you are always with me and that there is no cause of lamentation in our being separated from one another. So this is what Krishna told the gopis, because they had been separated for many years. And in other chapters, it is described how the gopis and the residents of Vrindavan were living while Krishna was away. Apparently, Krishna was absent, but no matter what they were doing, no matter what it was, they were actually seeing Krishna. Just like mothers, when your son or daughter goes away to college, you have some people, they still have the child's room. And whenever they go into the room, oh, she used to do this. Or everybody has in there, I'm sure if I go to anybody's house, there are so many pictures of the children in all their different leelas. Baal Leela, Palganda. Yes. They have pictures of their baby, right? And it's such a phenomenon. I know it from my own case, my wife. My daughter is over 40 years old. How does she see? That's my baby. That never, am I right? It never changes. So the residents of Vrindavan, even though superficially Krishna was absent, everything they saw and touched and did remind them of Krishna. And that would cause tremendous spiritual emotions. And they were experiencing this highest level of spiritual life, which is taught by Lord Chaitanya, Vipralambha. This is the highest spiritual emotion. The feeling of intense separation from Krishna, but it is born out of love. When you love someone so much and they're not present before you, all you can do is pine. All you can do is hope one day they'll return. And that's how the residents of Vrindavan lived their lives, hoping maybe one day Krishna will return. So that's part one. How did I do so far? I still got you? Nobody's left yet, right? Thank you. So now comes Prabhupada's purport to this section. I love the way Prabhupada explains these things. We sing every morning, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Kariya Aikya, Arna Kari Homane Ash. I simply want to hear what my spiritual master is saying. I don't want to hear anything else. I just want to cherish the words coming from the lotus mouth of my spiritual master. Let me meditate on that. So, as I said, this is my favorite book, Krishna book. And Prabhupada, the way he has constructed this, you don't have any room for misconception. He explains everything so nicely. Are you ready to hear Prabhupada? Say, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. This important instruction of Lord Krishna's to the gopis can be utilized by all devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness. All devotees of Krishna consciousness, raise your hand. Yeah, everybody. If you're not raising your hand, you're in the wrong place. This is devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness. The whole philosophy is considered on the basis of inconceivable, simultaneously oneness and difference. Technically, that's called Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that he is present everywhere in his impersonal feature, namely his energy. His energy represents him impersonally. Everything is existing in him, but still he is not personally present everywhere. The cosmic manifestation is nothing but a display of Krishna's energy, And because the energy is not different from the energetic, parenthesis, Krishna, nothing is different from Krishna. When this absolute consciousness, Krishna consciousness, is absent, we are separated from Krishna. So that is what we call Maya. Maya is thinking that Krishna is not present everywhere, forgetting that everything is Krishna's energy. That's Maya, when you forget that everything belongs to Krishna. If this Krishna consciousness is present, then we are not separated from Krishna. The process of devotional service is the revival of Krishna consciousness. That word, for me, revival, harkens back to many times Krishna says, our original consciousness is Krishna consciousness. That's our original consciousness. Therefore, revival. When you're in Maya, you have lost your Krishna consciousness. It was there, and now it's been resuscitated or revived. Or as Lord Chaitanya says, Jeev Jago, wake up, knucklehead. You have forgotten me. Now, by this chanting and hearing, you will wake up. You have been sleeping on the lap of the witch called Maya. So, revival, revive. Something has almost been dead, and it has been revived. And if the devotee is fortunate enough to understand that the material energy is not separated from Krishna, then one can utilize the material energy and its products in the service of Lord Krishna. Big point. And technically it's called Yukta Vairagya. The devotee, especially the expert devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, can utilize any material thing in the service of Krishna. And we are meant to also be like that. Learn the art of utilizing everything for Krishna. If you like to sing, sing for Krishna. In my case, if you like to eat, eat for Krishna. If you like to dance, dance for Krishna. If you're an artiste, do art for Krishna. If you are expert singer like Dravida, sing for Krishna. If you have good brain, be like Badrinarayan Swami. Use your brain to manage nicely Krishna consciousness. Everybody's got a talent. Everybody's got something. Whatever you got, use it for Krishna. If you're a good cook, great. Cook for Krishna. If you got a big mouth like me, speak for Krishna. As an astrologer once told my wife, your husband, he's one big mouth. All his planets are in his mouth. But I have to use it for Krishna. But in the absence of Krishna consciousness, the forgetful living entity, although part and parcel of Krishna, falsely puts him or herself in the position of enjoyer of the material world, and being thus implicated in material entanglement, is forced by the material energy to continue material existence. So there's the difference. Utilizing things for Krishna is proper, but utilizing things for my own enjoyment, that's wrong. There's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 7:14, and the word is daryate. And in the word for word, two meanings are given: utilized, exploited. So when we utilize the material energy for Krishna, very good. You don't get entangled. But when you try to exploit the material world, that is when you get entangled. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Although a living entity is forced to act by the material energy, one falsely thinks that he or she is the all-in-all and the supreme enjoyer. Now, this next paragraph is very apropos. If the devotee knows perfectly that the Archa Vigraha, or deity form of Lord Krishna in the temple, is exactly the same Sachidananda Vigraha as Krishna himself, then one's service to the temple deity becomes direct service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So those who are living here in the temple on a daily basis, this is how they think. Rest of us, we come Sundays or whenever we can. We don't, anybody here worshiping idols? No, we don't worship idols. Don't let anybody ever tell you, oh, you guys worship idol. You worship idol? I don't worship. I worship God. That's not an idol. It may look like an idol to somebody else, but I'm not worshiping idols. I'm worshiping God, as Prabhupada just nicely explained. Worship of the deity form is exactly that same Sachidananda as Krishna himself. It's not a stone statue. It's God. Very important point. Because I know people, some people have a problem. Oh, you're worshiping idols. No, once it's explained by Prabhupada, then all things become adjusted. Again, transcendental vision. Say here is this cup of water. It looks like a cup of water. But then somebody says, Prabhu, don't drink that because somebody put a drop of cyanide. By the hearing, everything changed. Oh, okay. Simply by hearing, the vision changed. So the same way, this is the reason why we must develop transcendental knowledge and transcendental vision. Because everything is dependent on how the subject matter is presented and heard. And that's why we're so blessed to have Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports helping us to penetrate this very difficult subject matter. Similarly, the temple itself, the temple paraphernalia, and the food offered to the deity are also not separate from Krishna. How many people like prasad? Yes. There you go. There is the direct proof that this is not ordinary. Because everybody has that experience. When they eat nice prasad, they feel different. That's why I wish somebody would go to Trump and give him samosa, pakora, gulab jamun. No more tweeting, just eating. Don't tweet, eat. What do you think? Good idea? Who could be that person that could? We need that. Every day, just give him lots and lots of sumptuous prasad. Give him the best, lots of ghee. No vegan. Lots of ghee. Okay. That's my political comment for the day. One has to follow the rules and regulations prescribed by the acharyas, and thus under superior guidance, Krishna realization is fully possible, even in this material existence. Prabhupada used to say all the time, not once, not twice, so many times, chant, how many rounds? 16 rounds. Follow how many principles?
4.
How many?
4.
Not 3.5? 4 regulative principles. You will go back home, back to Godhead when? This lifetime. I'm banking on that. Because I don't know about you, I don't want to come back. One life here is enough. Who agrees? Yeah, let's get the hell out. Excuse me. Badri's going to beat me with his cane. The gopis, having been instructed by Krishna in this philosophy of simultaneous and oneness and difference, remained always in Krishna consciousness and thus became liberated from all material contamination. The consciousness of the living entity who falsely presents him or herself as the enjoyer of this material world is called jiva kosha, which means imprisonment by false ego. Not only the gopis, but anyone who follows these instructions of Krishna becomes immediately freed from the jiva kosha imprisonment. See how hopeful Prabhupada's teachings are? We're talking about such high subject matters. Gopis, Vipralamba, Achintya. These are very high philosophical points. Prabhupada breaks it down. What does he say? Anyone. Who's anyone? Yeah, anyone's you. If we simply follow these teachings of Krishna, a person in full Krishna consciousness is always liberated from false ego. He or she utilizes everything for Krishna's service and is not at all anytime separated from Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Clap your hands and sing, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for listening very patiently. And I would like to ask my senior godbrothers, starting with Badri Narayan Swami, does he have any points, any comments, anything he wants to contribute?